What's up YouTube? It's Ben, and in this video, I'm gonna tell you about 5 different ways that recruiters make money. All right, so the first way that recruiters make money is by joining our Facebook group, Recruiter Empire, link in the description of this video. There's 12,000 recruiters in there, tons of content. You can interact with a ton of people and me. You definitely want to join the group, link in description. Please, I'll see you there next time. All right, so let's get straight into it. So the number one way recruiters make money is on contingent. All right, so the way I explain contingency is basically it's meaning if something happens, then something else happens. Basically, it's contingent upon this thing happening, then this thing happens. The first thing that happens is you actually find a candidate, bring them to your client, the client hires them, and then you get paid. So it's contingent upon the fact that your client actually hires whoever you bring them. This, in fact, is the most common way that recruitment is done, and in general, it usually works perfectly because the client doesn't have to pay a dime until they actually hire one of your candidates. That's all part of the beauty of contingent recruitment because that's how easy it is to get started in recruiting and start getting paid. Because when you acquire clients, they can sign contracts with you and they don't have to get worried at all about paying out tons of money here and there before you actually find them a legit candidate that they can hire and work with, and it's going to totally work out, and then they will pay you your fee. So this is the most common form of recruitment around. Most recruiters are doing contingency agreements. All right, so the second way that recruiters get paid is on retainer. All right, so the easiest way to explain retainer agreements for recruiting is just like the way you would retain an attorney or a CPA, anything like that, any professional service that requires money up front. So as a recruiter on a retainer, you basically get paid up front. So they'll just hand you a check for $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever it might be. You negotiate this out with your client and decide on an amount that you'll get up front. And then it'll also be negotiated between the placement fees, and maybe it'll be plus or minus a certain amount of percentage based upon the fact that they've already given you X amount of money to start working for them up front. Now, Ben, why would they give you money up front to start working for them, right? Well, lots of reasons. They want to incentivize you to work on these roles hardcore, like right now. Maybe if you have like 4 or 5 clients, they want to be client number 1 that you strictly work with. They also give you exclusivity, meaning they give you the one and only opportunity, the rights to handle the roles that they want filled with a retainer agreement. So it's a pretty sweet deal doing retainers. However, it is something that's a little bit advanced, and you probably want to do a whole bunch of contingency until you jump into retainers. All right, so the third way that recruiters get paid is on flat rate placement. Okay, so this pretty much is what it sounds like, right? So you decide upon a flat rate. Let's just say that every placement is going to be $5,000, and when you bring people in, it's kind of the same thing as contingent, right? It's contingent upon the fact that your client goes and hires that person, and then they pay a simple flat rate fee, right? That's it. Say $5,000, $10,000, whatever that rate is, they'll pay you that even fee right when you actually bring them someone that they hire. The only slight difference between contingency and flat rate is just that contingency, usually we go off of a percentage fee, meaning it's like 10, 15, 20, 25% of the gross annual earnings of the candidate. So that'll be your fee that you collect. On flat rate fee, it's a flat rate fee. All right, so number 4 on how recruiters get paid is split placements. Okay, so split placements, if you don't know what these are or haven't heard of them, split placements are basically where you partner up with another recruiter or another agency or whatever it might be, and somebody has the client and you go find the candidate, right? It could be either one. Maybe you have the client, right? And someone else is finding the candidate. Doesn't matter. What happens is you work together, and when you do find a candidate that the client eventually hires, you split the fee. meaning you take 50% of the fee that you get from the client. Reason being is because one person did all the work to go find and sign the contract with the client. The other person did all the work to go find the candidate that eventually got hired that made you both the fee. Meaning, in business ethics, you split that, cut it down the middle, 50-50 chop, meaning you get a 50% cut of that. So let's say the fee ended up being $20,000, you make $10,000, the other person makes $10,000. All right, so the fifth and final way that I'm gonna mention about how recruiters get paid is on temp contract, otherwise known as staffing. Now, you may have heard me talk about this before, but contract is basically where you find employees and you actually hire them, then you mark them up, send them out to your client, and give them a contract or a temp to hire, temp to perm, temp whatever it is basis, right? So essentially, they're not a full-time worker, not a full-time employee. They're your employee, but then you bring them out to your client, mark up the rate, meaning if you're paying them 10 bucks, you charge your client 15 or more bucks an hour, and you take that margin, and that's how you make money. Obviously, that's just doing some relatively rough math, but generally, you do want to mark up any type of contract or temp to hire like 50 to 55 or 60% above what you're actually paying your candidate, above what you're paying your employees, so that you can make that good margin. You do have burden in there, taxes, payroll stuff, HR involved. There's a lot of things involved, workers' comp, in contract and temp to hire. So you do need to keep in mind that 20% of that is going to eat into your profit. So mark up accordingly. There's tons of videos I've done about contract and staffing and temp to hire. So that's the fifth way that recruiters get paid. All right, guys, this wasn't meant to be a super intense, crazy video. I just wanted to tell you about 5 different ways recruiters get paid. Mostly, you're going to be doing contingent if you're at the start, just starting everything up. You want to move into retainers because it's really, really cool to get money up front. Definitely really cool to do flat rate as well, where you just get money as a flat rate and it's kind of no negotiation. You just kind of take what it is and agree upon a flat rate. And then that other one, which is temp, contract, all that stuff, that can be very, very lucrative once you get rolling on a volume basis. I don't recommend it though for the first 6 to 8 months of you doing business. I'd rather that you get into direct placement on contingent or flat rate or anything like that before you get into contract and staffing. Hopefully this video was valuable for you. If it was, please smash that like button, subscribe for more content, and be sure that you're in Recruiter Empire, our Facebook group. Link in the description of this video. Definitely join us there, and I will see you guys next time.